On June 7th, 4 best friends and a bunch of their friends will pile into a TV studio in Philadelphia with buzzers, microphones, lights, and trivia to recreate 24 of their favorite game shows, streaming online, live and uncensored. It's the 12th annual 24-hour game show marathon, raising $10,000 for Child's Play, a nonprofit dedicated to supporting children's hospitals around the world through the power of play. To learn more or to donate towards the $10,000 goal, go to gameshowmarathon.com.
You've tuned in to the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
You realize what you've done?
With Rich Liebig.
The real gangster plays his cards, right?
And Michael Costanzo.
What was that you just read?
Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news.
Good times, noodle salad.
The point is, you now have the ability to be happy.
And now, here's Rich and Mike on the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
Woo! Yeah! How you guys doing?
What's up, everybody?
It is time for this week's episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. We've got sports, we've got entertainment, we've got odd news. We actually have a lot of sports to get to. For this being the non-playing football season, we've got a lot of sports news to get to. So the sports sampler will be more like the sports first course or something.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of sports news to get to. And then, of course, we're going to have our weekly Last of Us discussion in the entertainment entree. So lots to look forward to on this week's episode. But before we get into all of the topics at hand, Mikey, my friend, how are you doing? How is Costanzo country this past week?
I'm doing just swell. This weekend, it was a busy weekend. It was Mother's Day weekend.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Happy Mother's Day to all the moms.
Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We first on Saturday, we went into the city and we had dinner with Jordan's family at Barclay Prime.
Ooh.
Very fancy. Never been there before.
That sounds fancy.
Oh my God, it was fantastic. It was one of the best steaks I've ever had. It's a steakhouse. If
very good.
People aren't familiar.
Yes.
Really, really awesome.
Fancy steak, yes.
It was very fancy. But you know what was one of the best things?
On a steak.
That's actually how everybody in the whole restaurant talked. But the best thing
that's
though,
our fancy accent.
that is the fan. I don't know
when
why
you go to,
that's
when
our.
you go, when you go to Applebee's, we had that a couple weeks ago.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Very fancy.
Riblets and steak. Oh my.
But there were no riblets.
That's Applebee's, yeah.
But what I did enjoy was they had a truffle mac and cheese, which was so decadent. Usually mac and cheese, some restaurants it's like very like stodgy or like there's not enough like cheese sauce going on, but this was perfect. If you
gotta have the cheese
If you get a chance to go there, check out the truffle mac and cheese. Really, really good. Then on Sunday, we stayed in and I whipped up a big brunch type meal for my mom. We had,
all too fancy.
Bacon and grits and eggs, and we got biscuits from the Biscuit Lady in Plymouth Meeting. Another, not as fancy as Barclay Prime, but I think just as good. If you ask me, if you like biscuits, go check out the Biscuit Lady.
That's actually the name of the business, by the way. We're not like being like
no, I'm not being funny. It's called the Biscuit Lady in Plymouth Meeting. You need to go. The biscuits are phenomenal, and if you go around lunchtime, they have pepperoni pizza biscuits.
Oh, all right.
Which I've been on a quest to acquire these biscuits because they only announced it on like Instagram the night before. And I'm like, how the heck am I supposed to be able to plan around getting pizza biscuits?
Yes, you're a very busy man.
But I did manage to get the pizza biscuits.
Oh, jolly good show. Yes.
They were fantastic.
Very good.
So anyway, that was my weekend. Just a constant consumption of food.
It was pepperoni.
Pepperoni, yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear that there's a pizza shop in Chicago calling their pizza Poperoni because of the whole Pope being elected?
Yeah, Pope at Chicago.
Yeah. Pope of Chicago.
You know what? I like the fact that the Pope was a Villanova grad.
Pope Leo.
Pope Leo.
Pope
yeah.
Leo.
But he's a Nova grad.
Yeah.
Which means the Pope has had Wawa.
Yes, confirmed.
Like, he has gone to Wawa
At some point in his life.
in the middle of the night, he's gotten whatever I want to know his Wawa order.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think he prefers? You think he's going hoagie? Do you think he's going like
Holy hoagie.
a holy hoagie, classic Italian?
Yes. Don't mess with the Latin heritage.
So, anyway, so that was my weekend was Pope memes and food.
Yeah.
But what did you get up to?
Yeah, it was funny. The Pope thing happened, and I was strangely compelled. I needed to watch
It's because Conclave, the movie.
Yeah. I mean, I was.
But you've always liked the process of the Conclave even before the movie.
Yeah, it's just always it always fascinated me between the whole.
It's a bizarre thing.
Yeah, I mean, they literally lock them in a house.
Yeah.
I mean, for lack of a better word, the Sistine Chapel is no bigger than a house.
Yeah.
And it's
They're-
it's like 250 cardinals.
Yeah, they're confined to whatever like the dorms are and the Sistine Chapel, and they live there, they eat there, they vote,
Until someone gets elected.
they pray, they vote some more, they pray some more.
Yeah.
Just go watch the movie Conclave. I feel like it's fairly accurate
Yeah.
from what I understand.
I actually saw the stats on that. Amazon released the stats that before Pope Francis died, it was gathering like 10 to 15,000 views a day, and then like after Pope Francis died, it shot up to like 1 to 2 million on average a day.
People, one, either thought they were watching the actual Conclave, or two, were just curious.
Hey, that guy looks like Voldemort. What's he doing in there?
I didn't know Pope Voldemort. What?
Pope Voldy the First.
Pope Voldy the First.
I'm in charge, Mr. Potter. Yes.
Avada Kedavra. But
Sounds like a Latin phrase.
I feel like you could do that.
Expelliarmus.
Avada Kedavra, Expelliarmus, Aloha Mora, Wingardium Leviosa.
Amen.
Amen.
And with your spirit.
We're a special kind of nerd. I don't know what. Like we just did like some kind of weird Harry Potter Roman Catholic mashup. So I don't know who's going to sue us first: the Catholic Church, J.K. Rowling,
Yeah.
both. I don't know.
Yeah. I was not expecting to go down this path.
Neither did I.
Welcome to the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
So was watching the Conclave the only thing you did this weekend, or
No, it was just funny because when it happened, it was like I was at work.
it was
and
like, it was like a major thing that happened last week.
It felt like history. So I'm telling
I mean,
people
it was.
can I turn the TV on to this? Like it's
Especially because now it's the first American pope too.
Yeah, it
that,
ended up
that was it was literally historic.
yeah. So I was right to turn the TV on. I was like, we got to watch this. This is world history.
He's weird, but he's right.
Thank you.
You got to listen.
Yes. Thank you. What's the meme? He's out of line, but he's correct.
He's out of line, but he's correct. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I don't know. Oddly, yeah, that was like a weird thing that like I paid attention to. It happened. It happened during the last week,
It's true.
and I had no idea he was from Villanova. That was
Yeah, graduated in mathematics.
yeah,
From Nova.
yeah. So it was very interesting to hear that and have the whole thing be notified and
It was fun.
the white smoke and everything. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was interesting. You know, I don't know.
Pope Leo.
And I mean, on average, this really only happens like once every 7 to 10 years. I mean, I know there are exceptions, like the Pope John Paul I. He only had 30 days or something.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it usually only happens like every 7 to 10 years.
I mean, in our lifetime, this is only the third conclave. It was after Pope John Paul II,
Yeah.
then after
Benedict, and
and then
Francis. Yeah,
after
you're
Francis.
right. Yeah.
This is, I mean, so we're 30-ish years, some odd years old, 35, 36,
Yes.
and it's only the third one. That's an average of what, 12 years
Yeah.
per conclave.
So there you go. I mean, I feel like it's history. So it was cool to see it happen. And
Yeah.
whether or not it was right, I commandeered the work TV, and I was like, we got to watch it.
It's history.
Yeah. So that was fun. Yeah, and then it was Mother's Day, and
Yep.
Yep. So that was good to have on. Weird juxtaposition. We go from Holy Father to Mother's Day.
Holy Father, Holy Mother.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. All right. I think that's enough talk. We need to jump into
Enough
sports.
beating around the bush. We gotta get to it.
Because there is a lot of sports to get to. Surprisingly, for the off season in the NFL, I feel like this length of topics is usually something we have during the NFL season.
But none of the news is NFL news.
Some of it is. So let's jump into it with the sports sampler.
So you're not good at sports. It's a very small part of life.
Sports. In your face. Ha ha!
Yep, sports sampler coming at you in your face. Let's bring back an old segment. We haven't done this in a while. This will knock out a couple topics quickly that we need to talk about in a fast break segment. It is time for the 2-minute drill. You ready, Mike?
I'm ready.
All right. What do you want to talk about?
All right, well, this is the only way we're getting NFL news into the sports sampler. There's 2 quick stories here. First up, the Pittsburgh Steelers traded diva wide receiver George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys recently. In a move that shocked NFL fans, Pittsburgh gets a 2026 third-round pick and a 2027 fifth-round pick. Dallas gets wide receiver George Pickens and a 2027 sixth-round pick. Now, for my money, I think that this move is only going to further complicate the Dallas Cowboys roster. But, Rich, what do you think?
Yeah, I feel like this is a great move for Dallas. It's flashy. It shows off, oh, we've got a tight wide receiver core, but George Pickens seems like the kind of guy that is going to be a headache around the locker room. He hasn't shown maturity. Sounds like a perfect fit for Dallas. I love it.
It's not the first time they've done this, bring in a head case of a wide receiver, so I hope that history repeats itself. Oh, good music transition for the more serious topic, because New Orleans Saints quarterback Derek Carr sadly announced his retirement in the midst of dealing with his serious shoulder injury, and I think he's having surgery on it.
Yeah, he really must have messed up that shoulder.
He's 34, major injury to his throwing shoulder, announces his retirement because it seems like the likelihood of recovering and playing at a high level just wasn't enough to convince him to try and go through the rehab and come back in 2026.
Nope. And the Saints, boy, man, this is a roster that looks primed to bomb this season and go get Arch Manning in next year's draft.
Yeah, because they have a bunch of nobodies at quarterback. I think it's like a bunch of guys off the street.
Yeah, this looks like prime #1 overall pick for next year for the Saints. Tankathon is on in New Orleans as far as I'm concerned. And there you go, the buzzer sounds. That's all the NFL talk we can fit because there are other news stories happening.
Timing. That was perfect.
Yeah, did you like that?
I liked it.
Woo! Yeah. Take that, Popes. I don't know. No, Cardinals.
Yeah, take
Sorry,
that.
Cardinals.
We showed them.
Yes, not the Popes. I just realized I inferred that the Popes did all the conclave. No, it's the Cardinals that do the
Cardinals vote in the Pope.
Correct. I got
and
it
then
confused.
the Popes vote in the Cardinals.
Correct.
But who votes in the bishops?
Mr. Pope.
Whoa. Mr. Pope.
Mr. Pope.
Mr. Coffee.
Right.
What's all this bubbling and churning? That is Mr. Coffee.
Yes. Mr. Radar's right next to it.
I just watched Spaceballs recently.
It holds up.
I introduced Jordan to it. She was not a fan.
Oh, come on.
I still thought moments of it were funny.
I think it holds up. I love it.
I think it's funny.
Yes.
But anyway. Different strokes for different folks, different strokes on the golf course. Rich,
nice.
tell us about the PGA Championship.
Very good, Mike. Anyway, yes, for golf fans like me out there, we have another big weekend coming up. The second major of the year, the PGA Championship, is this weekend in the Carolinas. This should be an ideal course and an ideal challenge for the pros. This is one of the longest golf courses, I believe, of the year. So
we're looking at like larger,
long par
long
threes.
pars, yeah.
I believe one of the par threes is something like 260 yards. It is ridiculous. Which
that sounds like a lot.
That's a driver. You need a driver to hit there.
Do they not always?
Well, not on a par three. The aim.
How long are par threes normally? 260 yards seems like normal for golf. No,
for the professionals maybe. On a regular, normal, average course, a par three is usually like 100 to 200. Like,
Oh.
you're supposed to use your iron to get there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, for some reason I thought I don't know why I have
'Cause-
this idea in my mind that golf course is just like miles long.
Well, no, that's your par 4 is your par 5. That's the
Okay.
longer holes. Yes.
Okay.
But your par 3, you're supposed to get to the green in one shot and then 2 putt. That's usually the strategy.
Okay.
So for this to have a 260 yard,
So you need to bust out one of the. Normally, what you're saying is you don't bust out the big guys, but for this one you do.
for this specific hole, and apparently the whole course is very long. So this should benefit one of our favorite guys, Bryson DeChambeau, who is known as a long hitter.
He's a power guy, right?
Yes, that is why between that and unfortunately he had a disappointing finish at the Masters, but he did have 2 very good rounds at Augusta. DeChambeau has shot through the odds. He's the 3rd best favorite at 10-1. The current world number 1, Scottie Scheffler, is at 5-1, and the past Masters winner, Rory McIlroy, is also at 5-1. So those are your heavy favorites. They are the ones that most people are placing their money on to win at this weekend, and it makes sense. I wouldn't fault anybody for betting on those 3 golfers. I think all those are very compelling arguments to bet on those if you're itching to put some money down on the PGA Championship. Those sound like all reasonable bets to make. I'm just excited. Second major. It's going to be interesting to see if McIlroy is going to keep this going now that he's officially got the monkey off his back. He's officially now confirmed going into the record books as a career Grand Slam champion.
He's one of only, 7, I think? 6 or 7? 6?
Yep.
Wow.
So, but it always nagged at him that he couldn't win the Masters. It was always there. It was always just lurking there.
So now the burden is off. He can just golf free.
Well, that's the logic. Let's see if he can keep this going here, keep the momentum going. But Scheffler, he's still holding strong as the world number 1. He's had some very good showings in the tournaments that he's been a part of and at the Masters as well. I mean, he didn't win, but he finished, I believe, top 10, so he's still good. And then DeChambeau, maybe it's time for the muscle man to come through with a major. So there's a lot of interesting storylines at this year's PGA Championship this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. And I hope we get another exciting finish because, man, the Masters was between Rory McIlroy and Justin Rose with the playoff at the end. I hope we get something that is close to that. I don't think we'll get something that lives up to that, but
Right.
I hope we get another close finish at the end.
Well, with the long courses, it should be a challenging tournament.
Yes.
For the pros, which will keep it interesting because, it seems like they're all really going to be tested and
Yes.
pushed to their limits, which could open things up for maybe names we haven't heard about or, at least keep it real tight. So we'll see.
Yep. So there you go. From the golf world, from my area, from my neck of the woods, it's going to be a very exciting weekend this upcoming weekend with the PGA Championship, the second major of the golf year. And, of course, I will let you guys know what happens on next week's podcast as to who wins and if it was exciting. And maybe there'll be another interesting story to tell or something like that.
Another nail-biting conclusion. We'll see.
Yeah. Or will Scottie Scheffler get into another incident with police cops? Because I think
that could happen.
I think that was the PGA Championship last year.
He did a weird thing. He drove against traffic, and he's
Yeah.
like, "But I gotta go golf." And the cops were like, "Okay, you still can't drive into opposing traffic."
It wasn't opposing traffic. It was there was
He broke traffic laws, and he's
Yeah,
like,
he-
"Cause I gotta golf."
he went down the wrong driveway or something. Like it wasn't the wrong. It wasn't like he was Grand Theft Autoing.
I like to imagine that he drove across the median and started driving in the opposite.
No, it wasn't quite that bad. He did mess up, but it wasn't to that extent.
Okay.
And it was proven that the cops were they had a power trip or something because they shouldn't have arrested him apparently.
Yeah.
So I think, and yeah, that was the PGA Championship last year. So hey, maybe Scottie Scheffler will pull a Grand Theft Auto.
Maybe. I personally like the Grand Theft Auto storyline, so I'm going to stick to that one.
All right. Well, I'll let you know if that happens next week.
Well, we got 2 sports out of the way. Let's move to a third sport.
I know it's like we're going around the bend. Woo! Here we go.
Yeah, I had 3 sports, 3 topics. This time, the NBA, but a little bit of a twist. We got to put on our tinfoil hats for this one because there's a conspiracy going on. I don't know if it's going to be as good as what was it, demon drones and babies on Mars and gay frogs and stuff. I don't. We can't get to that level, but there's a little bit of a tinfoil hat thing going on here because, Rich, you brought something to me about how there was this weird thing that happened with the NBA draft lottery that has a lot of fans, a lot of critics really wondering if there wasn't a little bit of a thumb on the scale here. So take us through this step by step. What's going on here?
Okay, welcome to the NBA conspiracy meeting. I hope you have gotten your complimentary soda on the side. And
Conspiracy
you're ready to
corner, come on in.
Yep. So the NBA is really the only league that does a lottery for the draft picks. What does that mean? So as opposed to football, which I think is still...
I think they got a good system.
I think they got a good system. I don't know why they messed with it. Assuming that there's no trades, the team that with the worst record gets the first overall pick in the NFL.
Yep.
All right. The NBA used to do that, but then they noticed that teams could tank.
Yep.
And they didn't want teams to tank. It's not good. Especially in the NBA, because then you're just giving way to teams like the Lakers and the Celtics to just create dynasties and win 10 championships in a row.
As they did.
Right, and they did. So the NBA came up with a wrinkle to try and mess with teams that were trying to tank or trying to get the best overall draft pick, and that is the draft lottery. So when you have the worst record, you don't automatically get the number one overall draft pick. Instead, you have the best odds to win the lottery to get the number one overall draft pick.
But it's never 100%.
No. As a matter of fact, this has gone awry for so many teams. It's actually now the case you don't get the number one. I think it's been more often than not the team with the worst record doesn't get the number one overall draft pick, which, great. Boy, just add insult to injury to the teams that finished with only 8 wins in an 82-game season.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Anyway, so that's a weird thing that the NBA does on its own. None of the other leagues do a full-blown lottery like this, really. All right, now let's get into the conspiracy part. So if you remember, a couple months ago, we had a shocking trade that rocked the NBA world. We even talked about it on the podcast.
We did.
And that is the fact that the Dallas Mavericks and the Lakers had a trade where Dallas had Luka Doncic, who was supposed to be a new upcoming massive superstar on the on the scale of Stephon Curry, on the stage of LeBron James. Like he is poised to be the face of the NBA.
Right.
And it just so happens that out of all the teams, the other 29 teams, Dallas decides to work with the LA Lakers.
One of the most winningest franchises in NBA history.
Most winningest, the most marketable team, the one with the most history.
Yep.
The one all the celebrities go to. Jack Nicholson still goes to LA Laker games at 85 years old or whatever, age. Like, this is for lack of a better term, this is the NBA, is the LA Lakers. It really is.
It'd be crazy. It'd be like, in another sport, trading the best quarterback to the team that just won the Super Bowl, or the team that has the most Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. And Dallas only got 31-year-old Anthony Davis back, who was on an injury, and like a second-round draft pick. It didn't seem like they got a whole lot for this.
It was enough of a head-scratching trade that it got fans and critics talking and wondering, what in the world were these two teams thinking?
Well, the Lakers, it makes sense.
Well, right. Never mind. What the Dallas Mavericks are thinking, because the Lakers, as far as I think almost anybody with a pulse in the NBA thinks the LA Lakers got away with a crazy steal.
Yeah. Especially with them knowing that LeBron James he's only got one more, he might retire this season. He's at the end.
LeBron's like 49 years old.
Yes.
Like he's
he's old. He's done.
Yeah,
he's at the end of his career. He may have one more season and that's it. So this was supposed to be a natural way to get more star power to keep going to the Lakers. Well, boy, maybe there was a little behind the scenes deal behind this, because Dallas finished this season in the middling zone, and usually you hate the middling zone.
I do. I hate it.
This is usually your no man's land.
Yeah, you're not bad enough to get a good draft pick if, for example, you're an NFL team. You're not good enough to really do anything of note in the playoffs. You kind of just exist and are happy with just being present, and that frustrates the hell out of me. But that's what the Mavs did.
Yes, that's how they finished this season. So they were not supposed to be anywhere close to the top pick in the NBA draft.
Right.
But since they did not make the playoffs, they do get a ping pong ball thrown in the pot. It's just the rules. Congratulations. You get, I don't know, whatever it is, 2 ping pong balls or whatever it is.
But they have a shot.
Yep.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
Yes. Oh, my God. Yep.
Which leads us
to the fact that Dallas only had a 1.8% chance to get the number 1 overall draft pick.
And what pick did they get?
Dallas somehow gets the number 1 overall draft pick.
Oh.
And in a coincidence, guess who declares that they are going to be eligible for the NBA draft? Duke superstar Cooper Flagg, who, if you followed March Madness at all remotely, you saw his face plastered on commercials during the pregame warm-ups, the postgame news conferences.
He's the next big thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
And look who gets it. Dallas just they get to go from Luka. They get to go from Luka to Cooper Flagg in a convenient sweep. Mike, come on, 1.8% chance, crazy trade deal. There seems like there's some sort of back room deal going on here, doesn't it? Or am I being Alex Jones?
It seems verily,
Yes, my lord. My lord.
So verily that I've become medieval. It seems very convenient that you get rid of your best player, then all of a sudden, by sheer coinkydink, you get the top pick, and you get the next LeBron, Jordan, et cetera, apparently coming out of college. It seems very coincidental. That being said, it's not 0%. There's still, and that's
a 1.8% chance.
but that's the problem with lotteries in general, is that it's never a non-zero chance. And whether there's a conspiracy or a thumb on the scale, I think the real problem, the underlying issue, is the draft itself. Situations like this should just not happen. You should not be able to have, where'd they finish? Probably middle of the pack, like 16, 17, probably, something like that.
No.
Was it worse or better?
Worse, because 16 teams make the playoffs, and then 4 with the whole post playing game, whatever, however you want to factor that.
So what were they, 21st?
Somewhere around there. I have to look at the standings.
Okay, so
they were not bottom 5.
They were not bottom 5, but they were not very good either. But you still shouldn't be in contention for the number 1 overall pick.
No.
Like this would never happen in any other sport.
No.
Part of me is like, it's very, very coincidental, and I know that the NBA lottery has come under fire in the past.
Yes. Lest we forget, there have been past instances where stuff like this kind of happens. Patrick Ewing to the Knicks, LeBron James to Cleveland,
his hometown team.
There's some weird things that get moved around with this lottery.
The problem is that having a lottery invites conversations like this. We would not be having a conversation like this with the NFL draft. If you suck, you get the top pick. It doesn't matter whether you tank or not. You get the first overall pick. I think that the reason why the NBA has a lottery is because I think there's more to gain by tanking in the NBA than you would in the NFL. In the NFL, you tank, get the number 1 spot, cool. You filled 1 out of 53 positions on your roster. You tank in the NBA, you're filling 1 out of what, 10, 12 positions, 15?
Yeah, and 1 out of 5 on the court.
Right. So, people are always like, well, NFL teams tank. Yes, they do, but they also know that if they get one guy, that's only 1 out of 22 starters.
Yeah.
5% of your total team makeup ish. Whereas in the NBA, and who's going to be good typically in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like
who's got the superstars?
Right. So yeah, tanking in the NBA is, I think, a bigger problem. But that being said, the lottery only invites more issues, I think, like this. But to answer your question, I kind of went off the rails there. To answer your question, it does really seem coincidental, but it's a non-zero chance. I mean, there's always a possibility. I can't say for certain.
Just jump on the bandwagon.
Just
Have
jump
some
on
fun.
the bandwagon.
Have some fun. Let's imagine the conspiracy.
It does seem highly coincidental. I think it's very strange that there is a very odd trade that does not make sense, right? No matter how you spin it, it does not make sense. And then that team that does that trade gets seemingly rewarded on a very slim chance of being rewarded. And not only that,
1.8%.
and not only that, but the thing that makes it extra coincidental is that everybody wins. Because Luka Doncic didn't want to be in Dallas.
Yes.
The LA Lakers need to move on from LeBron, and they are the premier franchise in the NBA.
Yes.
And then Dallas obviously gets rewarded because they get the number 1 pick. So in this situation where everybody wins, how often does that happen where everybody wins?
Yeah, it's bizarre.
I think that's the most damning thing, that everybody got exactly what they wanted and needed. And that's a little suspicious. It still bothers me that you can't outright say it because there's still that almost 2% chance, but
no, I'm going to say it. I think it's conspiracy.
You're going to say it. They did it. It's official.
1.8% chance.
Yeah.
You have better odds going to a roulette table and picking out a number and just hoping that number hits.
That's true.
Versus a 1.8% chance.
What are the odds of a single number? Is 33 to 1 or something?
1 in 38.
38.
Because there's 36 numbers and 2 zeros. So 1 in 38, 1.8% chance. That's 1 in 50.
Yeah.
You have a better chance of hitting a single number on a roulette table than this coming out, and Dallas hit it. By this logic, Dallas should just gamble all of their finances at their local casino. Let's see if one of them things hits and they make more money.
Dallas buys an actual lottery ticket.
Yes, they should, if they're this lucky.
Yeah, that is very lucky. But but they still only finished what? Worse than 20th best. So realistically, is this thing going to turn their whole franchise around? They're still going to be middling, right?
Look, Cooper Flagg is a marketable star. This is a guy that already has the hype machine, the marketing.
So you're thinking in terms of just general franchise, you're thinking about ownership.
Yes.
Like they don't care about winning playoff games. They just want to be super marketable.
I'm sure he'll give you a better chance, but at the very least,
it's going to rake in the money.
Yeah. This guy, you can sell his image on cups, on season tickets, on the billboard.
Wouldn't the NBA be better off sending him to a higher profile team?
No, because they needed to get Luka to LA.
They need to get Luka to LA.
You owe them
a lot of good that did, though.
Look, Italians, man. You wash my hand, I wash your hand.
Yeah,
I'm telling. It just makes sense. It's like you said, everybody wins.
Everybody wins, and very
weird.
Very rarely in sports does everybody get exactly what they want.
Right.
Those situations don't really happen.
No, the whole point of trading and stuff like that is so that some teams they don't know it, but they get weakened, and some teams get better and they don't know it.
You know what really frustrates me about all this, though, is that there's the other 9 teams who sucked.
Yeah, they all get screwed.
And this is the other problem.
Including the Sixers. I mean, I know the Sixers, they stayed at their level. They got the number 3 overall pick, but they could have had a chance to get the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
They had more ping pong balls.
And again, another problem with the lottery is that for teams who aren't actively tanking, they can sometimes get stuck in never-ending purgatory. you can be a bottom 10 team and always get the 10th or 9th overall pick. Like,
Yeah,
it's
sorry.
not enough to have you get better
Yep.
when you suck.
Yep.
So the lottery, just awful.
Yeah.
They should just do this whole conversation. They should just do away with it.
Yeah, but it is now a focal point in the NBA system, and I don't like it. But this is the way it is, and I think there's a conspiracy afoot.
Could be.
Yeah. So
The NBA could quiet those by getting rid of the lottery, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Speaking of gambling, though,
Wow, you are on fire with the transitions.
baseball.
Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of gambling, baseball reversed major rulings, reinstating two of its most notorious gambling bastards, Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this. And totally redeem yourself!
All you had to do was die.
All you had to do was die. Exactly. Yeah, so in a shocking move, this literally happened today on the day of recording. MLB reversed the lifetime bans of both Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson. Pete Rose was banned in the late 80s after it was found out that he was gambling. He was betting on his own team, the Cincinnati Reds, as both a player and a manager. That's a really, really bad look. But he was betting on his own team.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get into it. Shoeless Joe Jackson was banned in 1920 for his part in the Black Sox scandal, in which he and several other players accepted money to throw a World Series. So both of those big no-nos in sports in general, both received lifetime bans, but recently those have been reversed, and now they are technically both eligible for Hall of Fame inclusion starting as early as 2028.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rich, I mean, what do you make of all this? I mean, Pete Rose has, obviously connections to the Phillies, but also in terms of just the history of the league, like, I don't know, like,
Yeah, Pete
what
Rose,
does this mean?
The whole Pete Rose thing, they're a year late, or what is it, 2 years, or however, I think he died last year.
He died last year, yeah.
Yeah, they're a year late. I'm sorry. If you wanted to really do this as a favor to Pete Rose, you should have done it while he was alive.
It's almost like spitting on his memory. Like, I don't know. It feels very intentional that they waited for him to die, and they're like, okay, now you're reinstated. Like,
Yeah.
that's, especially since he had a history of appealing the ban. Like, he tried to several
Right.
times in the 2000s, and they're like, no. So, I don't know. It's nice that it was reversed, but it also feels like it's twisting the knife a little bit almost, that he's
Yeah.
not alive to see it.
They should have done this while he was alive, and they absolutely should have issued a formal apology, considering we live in an era right now where sports gambling is rampant. I mean, literally, you can get it on your phone.
And encouraged.
Yes.
How many betting ads do they show during games? They have multiple professional teams in Las Vegas, and they're like, oh, no, players, don't you dare do that. It's kind of a double standard, is it not?
Including with the potential athletics possibly moving to Vegas.
Yeah.
So they made baseball itself is actually causing more of this with that move. So this whole thing to me is a year late and $1 short. I whoop-de-doo. I don't know. Does the commissioner feel good about himself?
Wait, so are you saying this is more a move for the commissioner?
I don't know.
To what?
I don't know. Does it make him feel good or something? Like,
To make him feel good.
Like-
I did a good thing. Yay.
like this does. You should have, if you really cared about Pete Rose, you should have done this while he was alive.
yeah.
You should have made the move when he was alive, and you could have honored him while he was alive. And yes, you could have addressed the gambling scenarios while he was alive and everything like that. But he's dead. He's in the ground. It doesn't. What are you gonna do? Dig him up and put him on display? Oh, here he is. Like, no. It's just too late. They came too late for him. It's a shame.
Yeah.
And Pete Rose is still the career leader in hits.
Hits, yeah.
Like, that is a note that is Hall of Fame worthy. Put him in the Hall of Fame if you want to, but it's too late as far as I'm concerned. He's dead. You had your chance. You had, like you said, you had all those times when he applied to try and come back. He had shown that he had done his penance. He had done all the gambling counseling. He'd done all of the press tours and the speaking events, trying to say that, gambling was bad. It ruined my career and all this stuff. And still it wasn't enough for baseball. And now he's dead. Now you do it. It's too little too late. It bothered me that this came out now. And I don't know. I'm sure people are feeling good about themselves, but they shouldn't. It should have done it when he was alive. Absolutely sad that they had to wait till he died.
Yeah, and I think that it's particularly evident that's exactly what they did because he only died. I think he died in like September.
Yeah,
I think it was like 6 or 7 months, something like that. And they're like, "Oh yeah, you're reinstated now." Like it seems very intentional. It's one thing,
we know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah,
you waited till he died.
It's very obvious. It's one thing if, in the case of Shoeless Joe Jackson, where you're throwing a World Series game and then it's like decades after your death. Like that, to me, feels more natural. But for it to be like a couple of months after, and it's like, oh, now all is forgiven. Like, what? And in your death, you're absolved?
Yeah.
Come on. Like,
Yeah.
that's a little crazy, right? But I think, I completely agree. It's a shame that they did it now. I think it's very obvious that they were just waiting for him to die to do it. Because in the grand scheme of things, Pete Rose and his betting, I don't believe is on the same level as what the Black Sox did.
Yeah. Throwing a World Series is a whole different ballgame.
Intentionally throwing,
Literally.
intentionally throwing a game, that does ruin the integrity of the game. Pete Rose was betting on his own team.
Yeah.
Like, betting that they would win. Like, how is that different than a player going, oh, we're going to win the Super Bowl this year? Or we're going to win it all. Then he's so confident he puts a few dollars behind, puts his money where his mouth is.
Yeah, especially...
So they play harder? They play better,
especially in an era now where all these bets you can make on an app. You can make a fake account. You can do all this wacky stuff.
Yeah, are you telling me that 100% of players aren't absolutely putting money on games? Rich, I go through you when I place my bets. Come on,
Oh yeah,
come on now.
Come on.
Let's not be stupid.
Yeah,
which is exactly what you're telling me that these players that have. Oh, I'm going to go off on this team. I'm going to throw 100, well, in their case, probably like a couple $1,000, get my friend to put it on his betting app. Come on now.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
There are definitely fences and, people out there that'll post the bets on behalf of players. There's got to be.
Yeah. Let's not be stupid.
Yeah. So, whoop-de-doo. I'm sure the commissioner feels good about himself, but this is too
big
little.
old pat on the back is what it is.
Yeah, this is too little too late.
Yeah.
And now we'll see if the baseball writers will put him in the Hall of Fame.
Well,
that is
the next test. So MLB is like, it's okay. Betting is okay now.
As long as you die.
As long as you die, you can bet. But you're right. The writers and whoever else votes on the Hall of Fame, that's the next hurdle. Because they may still say, no, depending on how traditional they are.
Yeah.
Right? There's still another hurdle to having all be forgiven and forgotten kind of thing.
Yeah, so we shall see on that front what happens. But there you go. That is all the sports news to get to.
We hit 4 different sports.
Yeah, it was a lot.
We kept out hockey because,
Yeah, well, they're in the
and
middle.
soccer.
They're in the middle of the Stanley Cup playoffs right now, so we'll see who wins that. Maybe that'll be another Game 7. I would hope that happens.
Oh, there you go.
That happened last year. That was fun. So hopefully that happens for Stanley Cup. But for right now, we got to end it at that. Lots of sports news to digest right there. We need to take a break, but don't go anywhere because we still got the entertainment entree and then the non-fortune cookie odd news coming your way when we return from the break. This is the Crispy Noodle Podcast. We'll be right back.
On June 7th, 4 best friends and a bunch of their friends will pile into a TV studio in Philadelphia with buzzers, microphones, lights, and trivia to recreate 24 of their favorite game shows, streaming online, live and uncensored. It's the 12th annual 24-hour game show marathon, raising $10,000 for Child's Play, a nonprofit dedicated to supporting children's hospitals around the world through the power of play. To learn more or to donate towards the $10,000 goal, go to gameshowmarathon.com.
Ready for the weekend? Happy Friday. Hi, my name's Marie, and I'm an artist who's been making Happy Friday doodles every week for over 7 years. And now you can own my art collection in this Volume 1 and Volume 2 art series. These doodles span across multiple themes, yearly festivities, various countries, languages, and more. Both coffee table books have something for everyone and are the perfect conversation starter or gift for a friend. Really, anyone who enjoys a good weekend. Available on Amazon, Ingram, BookBaby, Barnes & Noble, and more. Visit happyfridaydoodles.com/books and get your copies today. Let's celebrate the best day of the week. Happy Friday.
Just a moment, you just assured me that I could speak.
Sit down inside the car. We're not assuring anything. We're under arrest.
Look, I'm under what?
Come on.
Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Have a look at the headlock here. See that chap over there? Get your hand off my penis! This is the bloke who got me on the penis before.
Get some cups.
Why did you do this to me?
Hop in the car. Get some cups.
For what reason? What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Oh, that's a nice headlock, sir. Oh, yes. I see that you know your judo well. Good one. And you, sir, are you waiting to receive my limp penis? Now, get your hands off there.
No, we've only got one cup.
Ta-ta and farewell.
It's all right. Just get him in the car.
One cup, look. They even broke.
Oh, yeah. This is how you know we're good with, our own flow of the show. Just every week, I love playing Democracy Manifest.
It's a classic.
That is up there in the rafters here in the Crispy Noodle headquarters. You can't see it on the video feed, but we have rafters.
Yep.
And there's a big banner with that guy, Democracy Manifest.
It's true.
That is in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
Crispy Noodle Hall of Fame. May he watch over us. Thank you.
He watched over us
with a delicious.
Bless us with his image.
Bless us, oh Democracy Manifest, for these succulent Chinese meals that we partake in. Thank you, amen.
Is that what you do? You pray to Democracy Manifest every time you have Chinese
yes.
food?
Yes, that's who I give grace to.
Okay.
It's Mr. Democracy Manifest.
Beautiful.
Love that guy. All right, let's move on to the second part of our show where we go over movies, TV, video games, and other entertainment things like that in the entertainment entree.
And now, the latest in movies.
The Simpson guy writes to movies. Dear Die Hard, you rock. Especially when that guy was on the roof.
Music.
I know what that is. That's music.
Video games.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
Celebrities.
You really know Warren Beatty?
Yes, I do. I took a leak next to him once at the Golden Globes.
And more.
You were the all-singing, all-dancing crap of the world.
This is the entertainment entree.
All right, we are officially in entertainment entree territory. let's do the segment where Mike is going to let you know what you should keep an eye out for this upcoming weekend with new movie, TV, and video game properties in Mike's This Week in Entertainment. All right, Mikey, what do you got for the people?
All right, first up in television, a new sci-fi comedy, Murderbot, comes to Apple TV Plus this week. Alexander Skarsgård stars as the titular Murderbot, a rogue security bot who gains free will and reluctantly takes a job protecting humans on a remote planet, even though it just wants to binge watch streaming shows instead. The trailer looks really funny. It's kind of a little bit of a commentary on what it means to be alive and have free will, and kind of, I guess taking a jab at people who, kind of our modern way of what we deem to be living is just engrossed in our streaming. But it's also a streaming show itself, so...
Was this written by AI?
No, it's based on a book.
Oh. This sounds like something an AI prompt would come up with.
Really?
Kind of, yeah. I just want to watch streaming shows.
Just want to watch streaming shows. Just watch the show. Watch the show.
Stop asking me prompts, please.
Yeah. Please let me die. In video games, though, American Arcadia is a 2023 genre-bending puzzle platformer that's getting a console release this week. The game is presented as a documentary and combines two different characters' points of view, a 2.5D platforming portion and first-person puzzle adventure segments to tell the story of an average man attempting to escape from a Truman Show-style reality TV show. We got pretty good reviews. It looks very creative. I'll probably be checking it out. That's American Arcadia coming out this week on consoles, and that's what we're looking forward to this week in entertainment.
All right, Mikey, thank you for that segment this week in entertainment. It is time for our weekly dose of our favorite show, I think, without hesitation. I think right now it seems to be, the show to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, between the video game audience and the current TV audience that it has enthralled. So we are going to talk about this week's past episode of The Last of Us, episode 5, I believe it was.
Episode 5, yep.
So we're going to do some spoilers here.
It's a spoiler! Woo! It's a spoiler! Don't listen! Go away!
Also gives me an excuse to play that clip. So, all right.
Oh, boy.
Officially in spoiler territory. Mike, what did you think of Sunday's episode? Episode 5. Ellie officially is now taking no effing prisoners.
Yeah. So this episode for me was very much a quote-unquote out of the frying pan into the fire kind of episode. Things go from bad to worse. We see an escalation in terms of lots of different conflicts, and specifically the revenge plot, which I think a lot of people were really frustrated with, that it wasn't making any kind of progress, that Ellie wasn't violent enough or angry enough. And we got to see that play out now, finally, in a big way, with the confrontation with Nora. So I think that in terms of those things, I think it's really hitting the mark. It's upping the ante. It's keeping things tense. It's increasing the stakes for everyone involved. And we finally got that hit of like pure rage, aggression that I think people were looking for. I don't know. What did you think of the moment where Ellie finally
there's
gets mad, I guess.
Ellie mad. No,
that's what everybody wanted her to get all rageful. It's
you made it sound like Hulk.
Yeah.
Now, something I want to point out before I get into that scene, and I don't know if it happens in the game or if it's as pronounced in the game, but I love the fact that Dina and Ellie have a moment where where they have a moment where they're like, do we want to keep going?
Yeah.
And like there's kind of like a little second guessing. I don't think it quite happens like that in the game. And I thought that was more profound in the TV show. And I think it's going to show that, you know, because one of the taglines of this season is every path has a price. They're going to, whether you realize it or not, Ellie has had multiple chances to not go down this path.
Yeah.
She has had she has had multiple times to say, no, I don't need to do this.
Yeah.
And yet she still says, I want to keep going. And that is going to be the great foil between her and whenever they eventually get to Abby. I don't know when they're going to get to Abby. They only have 2 episodes left this season. I don't know when they're going to get to her. But
Yeah.
at some point they will get to her because she is the perfect foil to Ellie. And I think that those moments like that are going to stick when we do like an all-season retrospect. When a major plot point happens, or when the next major character doesn't make it to the end, there's going to be a reflection.
Yeah.
And those moments are going to stick out more so. And I appreciate that happened more in the TV show because I don't really quite remember that happening in the video game. I think the video game has to kind of force you to keep going down the path so that you keep following the story and the story continues. Whereas in the TV show, they can actually let it sit for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I like that you know, the weight of that decision.
No, definitely. I mean, everything you said, I think is 100% accurate. They're definitely playing Ellie and her revenge quest a little bit more nuanced in the show.
Yeah.
They are showing the hesitancy. They're showing the distractions. They're showing that she is capable of, for brief moments, for lack of a better term, forgetting that she's supposed to be filled with this lustful revenge, you know? And that kind of like drops hints that there's more, that you can move beyond that. You can break that cycle of violence if you want to. And she's constantly choosing not to. Whereas you're right, in the game, because it's very objective driven, you got to get from point A to point B, you got to kill so many people, you got to, you know, whatever it is, you're kind of led down that path, right? Whereas you're right, it's letting viewers sit with it a bit more. And
Ellie has now had multiple chances to turn around.
And the thing that I'm just surprised about continuously, I made the mistake of going on the Last of Us 2 subreddit for the last episode to see the discussions, and man, there's not a positive word to be said. They don't like the fact that Ellie's quest for revenge doesn't seem like she's driving it. They're like, Dina seems like she wants revenge more than Ellie, and yada, yada, yada. I think it's very clear, for me at least, that they are playing it as a cold killer kind of revenge, not a Kratos Hulk angry.
Yeah.
Like in the game, there is a bloodlust. In the show, like in the scene where she finally meets Nora, it is a cold revenge.
Yeah.
Right? And for some reason, I think that people aren't reading it correctly. I don't want to say they're not reading it correctly. That invalidates. That invalidates their interpretation of it. But
I think the problem is you're getting people from the game that have seen
maybe they're playing it with the bloodlust.
Right. They've seen the Kratos. They've seen the intense rage from the games they've played, and they're expecting it to be a carbon copy in the TV show.
And they're the ones knifing people in the neck and throwing Molotovs and performing the heinous acts of violence. And it was never going to be a one-for-one remake. That's insane. And it doesn't work that way.
Right. It wouldn't. I don't think that 1-to-1 scale works on a TV show.
Yeah. So, I mean, all that to say is that I agree with you that I think it is a bit more nuanced. I think I enjoy the fact that it's a bit more nuanced. And people continuously, whether it's the game or the show, they want Ellie to work and act and behave a specific way. But I think that Ellie in the show is a 19-year-old girl.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah. Do you want like
How
a
many
perfect carbon copy?
How many 19-year-olds do you know that are like
Kratos?
that are like, psychotically driven to murder? Like,
Yeah.
and people will say it's the apocalypse and she was raised that way and yada yada yada. But okay, sure, she was raised that way, but she's capable of maybe changing or capable of finding love, finding distractions, of whatever it may be, and there's just more layers to these characters than just angry, not angry.
Yeah.
And I feel like the conversation so often gets lost in like they want her to be this ultra violent like T-1000 killing machine, and like it's not the video game.
No. Yeah, and it shouldn't be a 1-to-1 scale carbon copy either.
No,
it wouldn't work as a TV show.
No, I think that largely. I think that if I had to have any critique of the show thus far is I feel like they're making Ellie a bit more goofy than she was in the game, which is like not the worst thing, but she at times seems less capable maybe than Dina or than she was in season 1 or even in the video games.
Yeah, there was a couple of head scratchers with the whole I don't know what a protractor is. Like,
that was it was intended to be like a joke kind of scene, but I was like, why are you playing her off as some kind of like dimwit? Like she's clearly not that. Like I want her to be more capable. I'm not frothing at the mouth for more violence. I want to see the capable Ellie, not the rage lust Ellie. But overall, that one critique aside, I think that the revenge plot is doing exactly what it needs to do. I think that it's taking a more careful approach. It's taking a more nuanced approach. It is letting the calm build before the storm. And we saw the beginning of that storm at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Right? Like I hope that satiated people's bloodlust. I don't know. But I struggle to find many things wrong with the season so far. I think it's just Ellie seems kind of dopey sometimes would be my only critique.
Right.
But
I like the fact they kept the pipe the same. Like that's like the exact same pipe that you use between like the little hook at the end. Like that's the one you use to craft like a weird melee weapon.
Yeah.
With the scissors and stuff.
It like literally looks the same. Yeah.
Yeah. They really stuck to that 100%. I like that.
But speaking of visuals, let's talk about some of the other elements of it and not just the Ellie murder. What about the freaking basement in general?
Yeah, how about the spores making a comeback? Here we go.
The spores making a comeback, but just visually, that whole scene was so incredible.
Yeah.
With the cordyceps everywhere and the bodies grafted into the walls. I mean, they just nailed it.
Whatever team did that, for the love of God, hire them to do a Soma. Oh my God. Can you imagine that? If they did a Soma adaptation?
Honestly, Soma would be a really good miniseries.
Yes.
Complete side tangent, but like they should 100% do
Yes. Take that team that did this art design and production design, send them to do a Soma.
It was like an alien planet. It was disgusting and beautiful and thrilling. It was just all of the above.
Colorful.
Yeah. It was just great. It was just really, really great.
It reminded me of Soma. It was like I want that. I want to see that in the Soma universe.
Yeah. No, yes.
Yes.
100% yes.
Yes.
The other thing, I got to talk about the stalker scene. Oh man.
Yeah.
That was so stressful. And I'm so glad they're giving stalkers the limelight in this season.
I am glad that there's weight to that.
Yeah.
You
like
know?
Every time it happens, they're like, "What in the world?" Like you're right. In the game, it's just another infected that they just kill.
Well, how about any zombie series? Walking Dead is guilty of that.
Yeah, right. Oh, it's another one of these things. But yeah.
Oh, there's 12 of them. I can still just stab 12 of them in the head. No, it's
seeing the terror.
There is now, and I hope they stay with it, and I think they will. But if there's one or two, you might get out of it. If there's 3 or more, you are effed. You are, yeah. And I'm glad that weight is still a thing on this show.
Yeah, Because
you walk into a room with 3 or more of these things, you're not making it out alive unless you have some sort of backup or some other ace in the hole.
Like seeing the terror on their faces and the confusion and the realization, like, okay, one of us is just going to die here. And Ellie's like, you run for the cage and I, will try my best. Like, you're right. That's not shown enough in zombie properties.
Yeah.
Whereas you're right. If that were The Walking Dead, they're like, what is this? Child's play?
Yeah. Here's my shotgun. Boom, boom, boom.
But yeah, I mean, just the gravity of it, the intensity of it. It was such a great fight sequence with the stalkers.
Yeah. Another thing in this episode, the Seraphites with their
with the whistling, the weird whistling,
and the disembowelment. How was that? How'd you like that one?
Oh yeah. Oh boy. I mean, they are definitely not holding back.
Nope.
With The Last of Us Part 2. Yeah. We have people off camera waving.
They love the Seraphites apparently.
Yeah. So, but the Seraphites were definitely. I'm excited to see more of them. I'm excited to see the conflict. They were, everything you want them to be: creepy and cult-like in their pursuit of everybody through the forest. I love, they've been kind of seeing the trail that the Seraphites have left behind, but that was their first interaction with the Seraphites directly.
Yeah.
And they're realizing, like, whoa,
what did I walk into?
Right. Like, this world is way bigger than just Jackson and trying to fend off a few clickers. We have infected that communicate with each other. We have cults. We have a whole military organization. They realize they stepped into it, and it's like well beyond them.
Yeah.
Which is exciting to see your characters get into these types of situations.
Yeah. And then one thing, the episode ends on a flashback with Joel. Are you excited for I think the next episode is just going to be a whole flashback episode.
I'm pretty sure the next episode is going to be the entire flashback sequence.
Yeah.
From the game. I'm ready to get hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole part of the game was so, for me, very heart-wrenching because, like, you see, it takes you back to that, like, real innocent time between the two characters. Maybe I shouldn't say too much in case people want to, watch the next episode blind, but I mean,
I feel like the whole episode's going to be a flashback.
The whole episode's going to be a flashback. It's going to hurt and it's going to suck and it's completely necessary. But I just don't see how they're going to wrap all this up in 2 episodes plus a 3rd season. I know you're adamant that it's going to be 3 seasons, but
I'm getting worried.
The pacing, it just
I'm a little worried.
It just feels like there's not enough time in season 3 to go over everything else.
Yeah, I'm getting a little worried. I think they're not moving. They were. It's funny, they were moving fast, and then it feels like the last 2 episodes they're like, eh. It's like they let off the gas, and now I don't know what they're. I don't know. I still think the end game for this season, I think, is going to be the end of the theater. I still think that's like a perfect.
To me,
mark.
that's the only natural stopping point.
Right. I think that's a natural.
You can't
cliffhanger.
I'm trying to be vague.
Right.
You can't.
That's what I'm saying. The end of the theater.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I'm saying.
You can't stop in the aquarium.
No. I think it's the end of the theater. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. But absolutely thrilled with the direction of the season. I don't care what the online haters say. I think it's been fantastic. I like the more careful approach of the season compared to the game where it's just violence the entire time.
Yeah, if you want that, watch 300.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, I don't know. Last of Us season 2 so far, 9, 10 out of 10, whatever it is. It's up there.
All right. With that in mind, we need to leave entertainment and go to our third and final topic, the non-fortune cookie odd news.
We've been talking about cool and its ramifications and how it applies to the hip scene. But maybe you could give us some examples now of the opposite of cool, uncool. Just exactly what is uncool?
My nipples look like milk duds.
Holy shnikes.
It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
It's not of this world. I don't know exactly what it is or what it's doing, but this is not human intelligence, okay? It's not human intelligence we're facing!
How you doing? Me? I'm doing great.
I don't make this stuff up.
I'll take a pound of nuts.
That's a lot of nuts! That'll be $4, baby! You want fries with that?
I seen the celery dance across the baseball fields.
You had me at Meat Tornado.
No, go past this. Past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Okay. What does that mean?
And now it's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news.
So sit back, get everything you need to get from the kitchen. Be sure and empty the bladders. Go to the bathroom because you're in for a hell of a ride.
Woo! Odd news.
That's right, everyone. It's time for the non-fortune cookie odd news. Here in this segment, Rich researches the news, he reads the news, and I react to the news. He finds a weird and wacky story and keeps it hidden from me, which ensures that all of my reactions are my genuine gut reactions to hearing the story for the very first time. I don't know what's about to happen. You guys don't know what's about to happen. And even Rich doesn't know what's about to happen because these stories always take us down wacky and wild paths. And I'm ready to get started. Where are we heading to and why?
Oh, yeah. You know where we are heading to.
Now, who is this guy in Florida?
It's Florida, and they're crazy. It's always Florida.
Yep. We're going to talk about a little bit of a domestic abuse incident here.
Oh boy.
But it's between two women.
Oh, it's a lady.
Yeah, right?
Oh, it's a lady.
A little bit of a twist.
Yeah. Also, these two are both nurses.
Huh.
Interesting. So,
well, you've been watching Pitt. You know how
man.
stressful it is for medical professionals. So maybe that has a strain on their relationship.
So I'm not surprised. Anybody that's working in a hospital, you get my respect because oh my god, I can't watch the Pitt more than one episode. I can't.
What?
It's so stressful.
Are you on episode 2 now?
No, I'm on. I did 4, I think.
4? Oh my god, you madman!
But literally, I had to tell Ray, I'm like, we can only do one a day. I can't. I cannot binge watch this show. It's too stressful. But then also you add that plus you guys are working together and you're living together.
That's that. I feel like that's too much. You got to find somebody in a different field of in a different industry than you.
I'm sure for some couples it works out, but I do think like you do need to have some sort of separation.
And then do they work at the same like doctor's office / hospital? I don't know. That's like I feel like that's too much.
Right. It's like
because if you have an issue at home or at work,
you're bringing it.
Then you bring that issue either back home or to work, and you just unless they work different shifts, but then you never see your loved one at all. So it's like
I don't think so because
damned if you do, damned if you don't.
These two lesbian nurses. This sounds like the beginning of a porno. Sorry
the way you said that. These two lesbian nurses.
Yeah, they right. They're at home here.
Oh, it's a lady.
Yeah, I made it sound.
Oh, nurse.
Yeah, I really
Come
did.
on, Rich.
Sorry, I made it sound like a porno here. Sorry.
I got my fingers crossed for a little freaky deaky.
Unfortunately, no, we're not getting to that. Okay, so yeah, these two women, they're in a relationship. They're both nurses. They work at the same place. They're at home at the same time.
Sounds stressful.
Yeah, so I guess they don't have different shifts. They have the same shifts. I guess they're both
must,
home.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, yes, this is the case of Allison Swan. Allison Swan was playing video games in the living room. Hey, that's good. That's a nice way to try and relieve some stress here.
Decompress, absolutely.
Yep. That's when her partner, a 40-year-old victim, was making nachos in the kitchen at 3 a.m.
Whoa. Okay.
Okay. I guess that's a little late.
So one of them is playing video games at 3 a.m. The other's making nachos at 3 a.m.
I bet you their shifts are weird too. They're probably like all over the place in terms of like hours and sleeping and stuff like that.
100%.
Yeah.
So wait, the one's 40. What's the other one?
39. They're around the same age.
Okay. I thought you were going to say something crazy like 20.
No. So I guess this must have bothered maybe the smell of it or something, or maybe the fact it's 3 a.m. I don't know, but that pissed off Allison Swan. Not good. How dare you? At that point, that is when the victim made a comment, you shouldn't be worried about it compared to your weight. Which,
damn.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, going right for the jugular at 3 a.m.
Yikes.
Oh, now you fucked up. You have fucked up now.
Man.
I don't care. Lesbian or straight, you should not.
You do not go after that. Nope. No.
Yeah, you should not make a comment about the weight at 3 a.m. making nachos.
No, unless you want to get into a big fight at 3 a.m.
Yeah, well, apparently, you chose violence with that comment.
Sleep deprived, stress from work, then you take a jab at the weight at 3 o'clock in the morning. Come on now.
Yep. So that's when Swan leapt from the living room, jumped from behind the 40-year-old victim, grabbed the nachos that were hot, and shoved them down the victim's pants.
I feel bad for the person who got the nachos down the pants, but at the same time, that's such a bizarre tactic.
Take that, you bitch.
I feel like there's way more steps to that. You gotta like open the pants and like dump them in instead of just smash. Like I thought she was gonna grab it and smash it in her face.
No, that would be too convenient. No,
down the pants.
Yes.
Hoo-ah!
Oh yeah.
That seems like a lot of effort. No,
yeah. Gonna get a little fishy down there.
Oh,
Hoo-ah!
Rich. It's a fish taco. I hate myself. Damn it. Oh God. But so down the front of the pants, down the back of the pants, because you said she came up from behind.
Well, I mean, at that point, I guess they're all they're in the pants.
They're just everywhere.
They're in your pants. They're
I'm just
all
confused
over.
how the victim allowed her to get the nachos into her pants.
I mean, I guess she did it really fast, like just grab the plate hot, just boom right in. You must have.
I don't know.
Maybe they were like kind of like the elastic leggings, you know, like you
maybe.
Just, you know,
and she real quick like open the waistband and then dump them in.
Yeah, like maybe not like jeans because that would take a while.
Yeah,
but if they're stretchy, you could probably get that in one deft move.
I mean, maybe if you're quick and crafty enough.
Yeah. Well, she did it. She
somehow.
Yeah, she did it.
She got the nachos down the pants.
Yep.
That sucks a lot.
Yep.
I mean, how hot were they? I guess they don't know.
I don't know. I guess we'll
hot enough for this to warrant a whole story. I guess.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see if it leaves any damage in this. But yeah. So now, the victim's got hot nachos in her pants. When she tried to take the pants off, okay, so I guess now she's like, get the pants off.
Well, she's got a whole bunch of chips and burning cheese all up and everywhere.
Hoo-ah!
Yeah. Oh my God, something I never even thought of. Like, you could go up.
I know some woman who could hide a machine gun in there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, it could. Get some jalapenos up there.
Oh no!
I know some women who could hide a machine gun in there.
Yeah.
But like, how elaborate were these nachos? Because if they were very elaborate, because you could have two types of nachos. You could have very elaborate, or you could have struggle nachos. The struggle nachos are just cheese on tortillas.
All right. So according to the police report, it does say the nachos had cheese and salsa on there.
Okay.
So if you do a really spicy salsa,
if it's a spicy salsa,
that could get dangerous. Yeah.
And the cheese is bubbling. It's hot.
Yeah.
It acts like glue. It's just because when you get like you bite into a really hot slice of pizza and the cheese like sticks to you.
Oh no, not down there.
Yeah.
No, I don't like the sound of this.
Hoo-ah!
And then the chips are scratchy and crumbly. This is a disaster.
I know some women who could hide a machine gun in there.
Yeah.
Or a bowl of chips.
Yeah. Ugh.
This is not good. So salsa, cheese, and chips.
Yeah, all in the pants area.
Gosh.
So the victim tried to get the pants off.
Right.
At which point she called the other woman a bitch.
Yep.
And Swan did not like that, so she also took her fingers, put them on the side of her mouth, and shoved them like a hook on a fish. That's literally in the police report.
So, I understand what they're saying. She grabbed her like with her fingers.
Yeah.
Like hooking her mouth.
I don't know why. I feel like there should be a term for that. Hooked like a fish.
That's the term. Hooked like a fish.
I don't know. That sounds like some redneck stuff. Hooked like a fish.
But what did she do? She yanks her. I guess that's it. She just yanks her.
Yeah, I guess that caused her to go sideways or something.
And prevents her from taking the pants off.
Yeah.
This is a very bizarre attack.
Yes. At which point then the victim was, I guess at that point now, I guess she doesn't care. She's got nachos in her pants. She then reaches for her phone in her pants, calls 911. Cops then responded to the scene. When they arrived on the scene, they found a plate that was broken. The victim rolled around covered in the nacho cheese mixture all over her body.
What?
Hoo-ah!
I guess she never got the pants off. I guess like she's
because the cops don't just like appear there.
Right.
They have to get the call. They have to drive over.
Right.
And in all this time, she's just.
So I guess she just decided to struggle with the partner here.
So they're just tussling on the ground.
Yes.
They're kind of grappling.
And I guess
fighting.
she's just content now. She's got nachos in the pants. It's happening.
I mean, look, it's in there.
It's in there.
It's just part of your life now.
At least for the next couple minutes.
You got nacho pants.
Yeah, it's in there. But yeah, she rolled around. So I guess when that happened, I guess
all the cheese
got everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. What a waste of nachos.
Yeah, really.
Darn it. Could have saved that.
Also, these two people should not. I mean, it seems abundantly clear, but they should not be together.
Yeah. They're already having nacho fights here.
No, I'm gonna fucking kill you, motherfucker, old style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, you're fat. And she's like, oh, yeah? Take this.
Yeah.
Slides some bubbling hot nachos down her pants.
Yeah.
Then hooks her like a fish.
So, yeah, then the cops showed up, broke up the fight. They obviously were able to determine that the woman with the nacho cheese everywhere is the victim. She also had a scratch on her forehead and her right arm. So I guess that was from the fighting.
Yeah.
So, yep, Swan was arrested for domestic battery. Just the misdemeanor level. She was freed from the county jail on Sunday morning after posting a $250 bond.
That's nothing.
But the judge did order the two to stay apart from each other. So they are
see how long that lasts. They got to go to work on Monday.
Oh my God! Yeah. What do you do?
How are you going to stay away? So you're treating a patient, and then they're like, "Oh no, I need help."
Sorry, yeah.
Your partner / nurse rushes in the room, and they're like, oh no, I gotta stay away, and they turn around and run the other way.
You have to disclose that to your supervisor. You'd have to say like, we can't.
One or both of them is going to get put on like administrative leave or something.
Well, I would hope it would be the one charged with domestic battery.
You would think.
No, we don't like that nacho pants lady. Take her.
Do you think she treats the patients better than her partner?
Probably. I mean, with knowing this scuffle that happened, she put hot nachos down her pants.
That really sucks.
Yeah.
That seems like, oh God,
getting everywhere down there.
So many things wrong with that. Between this potentially spicy salsa, the bubbling hot cheese, the crunchy, crumbly nachos, is not good.
I know some women who could hide a machine gun in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not good.
Yeah. I do like the fact though there's definitely a point where she just realizes I gotta just fight with this on. I have to.
Well, because
I'm not gonna be able to get my pants off.
Her nacho slinging partner is fighting her. She can't be like, time out, pause the fight. I gotta take these pants off.
Take your damn clothes off.
Yeah, she couldn't do it.
No, she didn't have time. Yeah. She was getting hooked like a fish.
Yeah.
It's such a weird description.
Right?
It's the only way to describe it, though. Hooked like a fish. Like, how else would you describe it?
I don't know. I feel like
She
there could have
grabbed,
been
or how about grab the inside of her cheek?
something like that. I don't. Look, we have had previous police reports where they pull out $5 words or something that
That's
we've never
true.
heard.
That's true.
So this went the other way. Now it's like I don't know, like a fish. I don't know. It's to me it sounds like I don't know, like a 7-year-old is describing this. Like a fish.
Like a fish.
I don't know. But yeah, so Swan and the victim, they cannot have any contact, and they must stay away from each other per the judge's release with the bond. So
Well, good luck with work then, I guess.
yeah, they're gonna have to tell the supervisor, and you're gonna have to put us on different shifts or something. Yeah.
Yeah, or like different parts of the hospital or wherever they work. I don't know, but yeah, they can't be together.
Yeah, boy, what a sad day when love dies in Florida.
so sad.
Due to nachos.
There was a bit of a nastiness last night, yes? Some very extreme nastiness, yes? Yes.
Oh, man. I don't know. I it's one thing, like, if you and your partner like the same things and everything like that, but to live together and work together, I don't know. That's a lot of time together.
Yeah, you need some things that you do on your own.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I feel like it's just a recipe for disaster. Because there's just
like you said, you bring your conflict. If something happens
Right.
at home, you bring it to work. If
What-
something happens at work, you bring it home.
Exactly.
You don't get away from it.
No. It's just 24/7.
Yeah, and it just boiled over or melted over like a
see what
bubbly cheese.
Like a bubbly cheese.
A bubbly cheese.
Bubbly
Melted
cheese
over.
is good on chips, but not in pants.
Right.
There you go.
That's what we learned on this
That's what
odd
we-
news story.
Remember we used to do that?
Yeah, I mean, I actually still have the sound clip
Do
if
you
want
really?
to. Yeah, here we go.
As your body grows bigger,
Your mind must flower.
it's great to learn.
Cause knowledge is power.
So yeah, there you go.
No, you still have it.
Still have it. So there you go. That's what we learned. We learned that
Today we learned that melted cheese is great on chips, but not in pants.
Yeah, right. Just keep. Yeah, not in the pants.
Not in the pants. We also learned what?
If
That-
you've got nachos in your pants, take your pants off.
take your pants off.
Figure out a way to get the pants off first.
Don't work with your loved ones. But
Or you gotta have some sort of built-in separate time. You gotta have different.
you gotta have
shifts
you
or
gotta have
something.
you gotta have separate time.
Yeah.
What else did we learn? We learned that gambling in sports is okay now.
If you're dead.
If you're dead, that's right. First die, then you can bet on your teams.
Yes, very good.
Pro tip.
Very good. And the lottery's rigged.
The lottery's rigged.
NBA lottery's
Yeah,
is rigged.
Conspiracies.
There you
That
go.
one is true,
That's what I'm going with.
but the Earth is round.
All right. There you go. That's what we learned.
That's what we learned
on this episode of the Crispy Noodle Podcast.
What did we learn, Palmer?
I don't know, sir.
I don't know either. I guess we learned not to do it again.
Yes, sir.
I'm if I know what we did.
There you go.
That-
We brought back an old
That
segment.
that hit of nostalgia right there.
There you go. Brought back an old segment. So it was important. We did learn some very significant
It's
lessons.
very important stuff.
Yes, very important, and it was much needed so that we could bring back that segment.
Yeah. And now you can say that we're an educational podcast too.
That's right. So there you go, folks. The Crispy Noodle Podcast. Everything there has come to an end. Thank you guys for supporting our little show. If you like what you heard, make sure you go to our website, thecrispynoodle.com. Make sure you follow us on social media. But most importantly, make sure you have a way to get the podcast sent to you every week. Two main ways to do that. First one is on YouTube. Go to our YouTube page, Crispy Noodle Podcast, and hit that subscribe button so that you get the podcast sent to you every week to your YouTube channel. And you can watch us on your laptop, on your phone, on your TV if you got the YouTube app. Yes, you can literally watch us on TV. That's literally the thing. I've done that before. It's weird.
Put us up on the 65-incher.
Yeah, why not? So you can do it that way. Second main way to do it is to go on Spotify. We put the video podcast up on Spotify. But also, you can put Spotify on in the background and listen to us as an audio-only podcast. And if you have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, you can take us on the go with you while you're driving to work with your partner who's dumping nachos in your pants. Hopefully not hot ones.
Hopefully not while driving.
Yeah, hopefully not while driving either. But you can take us on the go with you with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay with Spotify. Take us on the go with you.
So many ways to check out the Crispy Noodle podcast, but if you need to get in touch with us individually to share your sports, entertainment, and odd news stories, you can find us on Blue Sky. I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo.
And I am at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig. Find us on Blue Sky. Let us know what's happening. I'm also on Instagram as well. Mike, you're on Instagram as well, so find us there as well. Let us know what's happening in your world and give us a topic that you want us to talk about on next week's episode, and we'll give you a sausage shout out here on the Crispy Noodle podcast. But for right now, we got to start wrapping this episode up. This has been the Crispy Noodle podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. That'll do it. We'll see you guys next week.
See you guys
later. Bye-bye, all you fine peoples. Good night.
Some of us have great stories, pretty stories that take place at lakes with boats and friends and noodle salad. A lot of people, that's their story. Good times, noodle salad.